Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in this video we are back with another Warhammer Space Marines 2 video. And in this video what we're gonna do is go ahead and cover my favorite class in operations. It's gonna be the Assault class. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and break down to you the build that which I'm using that I think is the best for the Assault class, which kind of makes the hardest difficulty in operations kind of like easy mode, just as long as you know how to play it correctly and all that good stuff. So I want to explain everything about the assault class. I'm gonna try to do it briefly without wasting too much time and repeating myself and all that. So without wasting time, let's go ahead and get straight into this. All right, guys. So here is my assault class Space Marine. I'm not gonna lie, my dude's looking kind of clean right now. But anyways, we're not talking about that. So for starters, I want to go ahead and just quickly, briefly explain two things. One will be the basic understanding of how to use assault, and the second thing will be understanding the different types of enemies, the enemy types. So, firstly, on the screen right now, you're gonna see a little picture thing that I just slapped together real quick for this video, and you will see that there are four different types of enemies. Now, I'm not talking about factions or whatever. I just mean the game. I don't know how to explain it, but there's different types of enemies. So let's just go over this real quick because this is very important when it comes to making builds. So your minorest type of enemies are the small enemies that you see most of. There's going to be a lot of them, and they're the ones that sit in the back and shoot you, or the little melee units that be trying to jump you. Those are your minorest type enemies. Now, your majorist type enemies, which you'll see at the bottom left, is the guys, like if you play the Terminus faction, Terminids, it's the guys with the melee weapons. It's the guys who have a little bit more armor, a little bit harder to kill. They're still common, but um, it's, yeah, you get the point. They're your more common enemies that you'll see all the time. The tankier units that you fight most of the time in the game. Those are your majorist type of enemies. Your extremist enemies are the special enemies that you run into every once in a while. So, like for example, you see that picture? That's that little snake dude that like goes under the ground and jumps back up and stuff like that. That's an extremist enemy. Another example is the invisible guy. The invisible beast monster dude that kind of teleports and goes invisible and just chases you down until you kill him. That's another extremist type enemy. Now, your final type of enemy is called Terminus. Your Terminus enemies are always the enemies with health bars. So, if you fight Terminids, you'll see that you have that little flying unit, that big flying blob thing, and it has a health bar. The one that has a health bar, that's a Terminus. Or you fight the guy with the hammer or the big rhino looking dude. Those are Terminus type enemies. So, just understanding that will definitely help you to know what perks to get and what perks are not to get. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the playstyle of the assault character. So the assault character is a melee primary unit. He has a secondary weapon, which I use the heavy bolt pistol, and then he has a primary, or well, not it's not a primary weapon, but it is his primary weapon, which is his melee. Now, with the assault class, you can either use the hammer, so you can use the thunder hammer, you can use the chain sword, or you can use the power fist. Because the assault class is the only class that can use the hammer, and it's my personal preference to use a hammer because it's dope. I ran with the hammer. Now, the way he works is he has a jetpack. So your only utility is mobility. So his jetpack really gives you really good advantages to get into combat, to get out of combat, and that's what well, and to do really really big damage. So he's just a jetpack in the fight melee type of character. So, if you're playing on the harder difficulties, and let's say you're playing him and you haven't mastered him yet, you'll notice that you kind of die a lot. Your armors get broke really quick. Your health is dropping because you're surrounded. and you're supposed to be in the paint to really maximize his kit, but you're dying fast. Well, that's why I'm making this build for you guys. So, we're going to go ahead and transition now to go over and talk about the perks that you should be running for the Assault class. So, there is a variety of different perks, but we're only going to go over the perks that I chose to use. Now, really quick, another information for you guys. If you did not know, you can only get one perk per column. So as you see right here, if you look in the core, there's 3 columns of perks, and you can only get one perk per column. You don't get every single one of them. You can unlock all of them, but you can only select one perk per column, as you can see. So to keep this video not unnecessarily long, I'm just going to go over the perks I chose for this particular build, and I'll tell you why I chose them. If you would like for me to go over all of his perks and the pros and cons to them all, comment and drop a comment in the comment section, and I'll gladly do that. So, anyways, let's start out with what our first perk is. So well, it's not the first. It's actually, but you get what I mean. We're just gonna go from left to right. So we go for non-finisher gun strikes also restore armor. And the reason why we chose this one is because if you do a heavy attack with the assault class character, you can do a knockback or an AoE, and sometimes it can stagger or initiate a gun strike to a tougher enemy who won't get one shot by it. And that gives you a free bar of armor just for doing the gun strike. So you can maintain your armor the whole entire time. So this is your main source of survivability. This one right here, non-finisher gun strikes also restore armor. The next one that we went for was after you're grabbed or knocked back, you deal 15% more melee damage. Sometimes while we're in the thick of the fight, we get hit by another unit or something jumps on top of us or something like that. It happens. So we get a bonus 15% more damage with our melee weapon for 10 seconds when that does happen, allowing us to really pump out the damage. And when stuff's getting, I mean, you get what I'm saying. So the next perk that we went was melee damage increases by 15% against Majorous and Extremist level threats or level enemies. Now remember that diagram that I drew up for you guys and showed you? Majorous and Extremist. So you're getting 15% more damage against the tougher opponents. You're just against the Minors and the Terminus, we're not getting any bonuses towards them. Just the 2 that are more common than the Terminus, but Minors are easy to kill anyway. So with this particular perk, you're gonna be able to slap and lay down the law with this class. So this is why we ran this one. Now our team perk that we chose was all squad members' abilities charge 10% faster. So that goes for you, that goes for everybody on your team, and it's just a quality of life type of deal. So, we went for that. Help out the team a little bit. So we went for our next one, we went ahead and went for ground pound deals 100% more damage, but its radius is reduced by 50%. Now, I went for this one in particular because my main focus when playing Assault is to eliminate targets as quickly as possible, or more threatening targets as quick as possible. Although we are losing out on a AoE effect on our ground pound, when we do hit an enemy with a charged up ground pound, he is going to get absolutely smoked. The next one that we went for was a ground pound kill restores jump pack charge by 10%. Now, this one is actually amazing, and it's like almost a must-have on the Assault class. And why is this? So, for those who don't know, your ground pound is when you hold your ability button, whatever it is. I'm on mouse and keyboard, so mine's hold Q while I'm like running, and I can fly into the air. When you're in the air and you're charging your hammer and you slam, that's your ground pound. So when you fly in the air and slam into a group of enemies, each kill gives you 10% charge back. So if you slam into a group and get 10 kills, you have your jetpack right back again. So now you can do it again and again, especially with the if there's a large amount of enemies around, you can just, you know what I mean? Now, although this previous perk contradicts it just a little bit, just when it comes to radius, our damage is a lot higher, so we will almost guaranteed to kill every minorous enemy that we do hit. So it still does benefit. Now let's say you want a little bit more AoE, you could switch this one out for the very first perk in this column, which just increases your ground pound damage by 10%. But I'm in the business of big damage and killing stronger enemies a lot faster, so I went for the ground pounds 100% more damage, but 50% reduced radius. That one's up to you. Switch these for whichever one you see fit. So there we go. Now the next perk that we went for was after I finish our ground pound deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. So as you see, we're building for the route around our jetpack and doing that slam down. So let's say let's say you slam down on a group of enemies, right? And you kill like, a bunch of them, and then you can execute somebody. Execute that person, jump back into the air, and then do another ground pound. And then now you're gonna get an additional 25% more damage from that next ground pound. So we're in the business of maximizing our damage to an extreme degree while still maximizing our survivability and our mobility. Yeah, there we go. So our signature perk that we went for was Ascension. So jump pack leap deals damage to all enemies in the takeoff area. This is really great for, let's say you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies and stuff like that, and you jump in the air. It's gonna do a little bit of damage. It's not like it's gonna one shot them, but it's gonna weaken them, right? So you jump in the air and then you slam down. Now you're killing everybody around you, refueling your jetpack, and if there's an execution, execute free damage. You know what I mean? And then on top of the execute, or let's say you just do a gun strike, you're gonna get your armor back. So I mean, it's this build is actually insane, and once you get the hang of it, you're unstoppable. But anyways, so that's the perks that we went for the assault class. Now I want to go ahead and talk about our hammer. So there are two different ways you can play, right? Because your hammer perks play a big part as well, not just your character perks. Now your hammer perks are very, very important when it comes to doing your build. So we did go for this armor one, but most of the time we're not always at full armor, so we don't benefit from this too often. But the times that it does is when you are at full armor and you fly in the air with your jetpack and then you slam down. Now you're getting even more damage. Um, and then we went for this one. We're preparing aftershock. You take 10% less range damage, which is cool. I don't use aftershock too much. It's the one where if you're standing stagnant and you just hold your heavy attack or right click, whatever your button is, and you're charging your hammer, and then you do a swing and then slam. That's your aftershock. It's okay. I don't really use it too much. We got melee damage here, and for here, melee damage against extremist level enemies have been increased. So I went for this because, like I said, I'm in the business of killing tougher enemies a lot faster. So we went for this one. Now remember, the extremist ones are the invisible ones, snake dude that goes underground, all that good stuff. Those are extremist level enemies. We went for this one, Aftershock and Ground Slam restores 100% more contested health. Good thing about this one is, let's say we're surrounded by a group of enemies. We're taking a whole bunch of damage. We fly in the air and slam down. That white bar, more of it's gonna be refilled instead of a small amount. So assists in our survivability. When at full armor, melee damage is increased by 10%, so we get a little bit more of that. Like I said, not all the time, you're going to benefit from this. So while performing light combos, you take 15% less range damage, which is good because sometimes you just have to spam the light in groups of enemies. And, these range units in this game are crazy. So getting some damage reduction from their shots is really nice to have. A fully prepared aftershock restores one armor segment, so you can still get some armor if you do charge up your heavy attack and then slam down. It just takes a while to get it, but you can get it off in certain situations, and it could benefit you because you're going to get an armor from it. Not only that, you have a good potential of being able to fully charge it, slam onto one of the stronger units or enemies and be able to do the gun strike on them. And then with our character perks, we're going to get another armor segment. So we got two just from that one instance of, or that one interaction type of deal. And then the final one that I have on here is melee damage against Majorist level enemies is increased by 10%, which is nice because Majorists are, we see them more frequently than you do see the next two above. So that helps out there. And now we don't have the last one, but as you see, we're working on getting it right now. You see, I'm getting this one so close to getting the next perk. But we might go for, you know, this one just to help out with the little basic ads, give us some more damage and stuff like that. But we'll see what we're gonna do with our last two because we still have this one and that one. So we'll see what we're gonna do. Might go for like just more raw damage. We'll see though. But anyways, so that's the perks that you kind of want to run for the hammer because it's really great. Now I want to talk about the type of hammer, right? So as you see right here, what we have equipped is um, this Thunder Hammer, whatever that name is, the Liberation one. They're both Liberation. So we have the beta version. So as you see, our strength is 10.5, speed 3.5, and cleave potential is 4, and our defense type is fencing. So this is what's really important on what we're going to talk about right now. So this one is fencing. Now my other one that I personally enjoy, well actually I don't know if I don't know which one I like more. I guess it's depends on who you're playing with. Depends on which one you use. So let's say we equipped this other one, which as you see right here, if we equipped it, now this one has 12 strength, speed 4.5, and cleave potential 6, but our defense is block. So for those who don't know, block and fencing, you can do balance, but balance is right in the middle. So we'll talk about block and fencing since they're on opposite sides. So blocking means when you see those blue highlights that you can parry, well, you can no longer parry. You could only block that. You can't parry anything anymore. And yeah, that's just what block is. Now, fencing is really good at parrying. It makes your window for parrying a little bit more user-friendly type of deal, I guess to say. And then also, you get more of a, it seems like a pushback AoE type of deal if if enemies are in a good vicinity of it. And you can get a lot of gun strikes on fencing. So, but also the stats do change. So although with block you can't parry anything, you get, as you see, we're at 12 strength, 4.5 speed, and 6 cleave, but the fencing drops it down to 10.5 strength, 3.5 speed, and cleave potential 4. If you're seeing where I'm getting the 0.5s from, it's that little plus symbol. It's half a point. So block does more DPS as a hammer, but fencing allows you to parry and things of that nature. So, but I would say something like fencing or balance for this particular build would probably be best, especially if you're going to play on the hardest difficulty. This class is actually insane. I find it too easy when I use this class and I play on the hardest difficulty. It's a cakewalk for me. And if you follow this build and you start, learning how to play him right, this will be a cakewalk for you too. So anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you guys learned something. If you did learn something, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate everybody who subscribed, because y'all are some legends. And yeah, that's it for me. Until next time. Wow.
Flesh is only temporary. Avenging angel at your disposal.